Hello students, in this episode of In Conversation with Achievers series, I have great pride, privilege and pleasure in presenting to you the most well-known quiz master in India right now in the student segment, I can very clearly say, Giri Pigbrain Balasubramaniam, a professional, a senior professional in the vertical that I also operate in quizzing. A person I've had the pleasure and privilege of knowing for several years. Because of our hectic travel schedules, we have actually met more number of times on airplanes and airport lounges rather than in scheduled meetings. And a person who I have a lot of respect for two things. One, for the domain knowledge and the experience that he carries in the world of quizzing. And two, for his humility and humbleness and his interest in engaging conversations whenever we have the opportunity to meet. My dear students, parents, presenting Giri Pigbrain Balasubramaniam. Giri, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Pleasure to be here. I must confess at the onset that I'm nervous on two fronts. Physics was not necessarily a great comfort terrain for me. Second, it's the first time I'm being interviewed by a quiz master. So that is nervous.
That is, students, this is precisely why I said he's all of a very approachable person, because one thing very clearly stands out when you speak with Giri Balasubramaniam, a person who is very, very well known, probably, a household name in school quizzing. He has appeared in hundreds and hundreds of television shows and interacted with tens of thousands of students over the last 20 years. He has started his career in media, moved on to do a short stint with Walt Disney, and then set up his company called Grey Caps, which is currently Asia's largest online, on-stage live quizzing and knowledge company. And he has been traveling something like 200 plus days a year, as per what he has told me. And when I met him today morning online, I was just commenting that all the long stretch of stay at home seemed to have done a good effect on his physique, because he has actually lost weight, and he's really looking good. Nice to see you in this new avatar, Giri.
Thank you so much.
All right. Now, students, I would like to showcase the quiz master Giri Balasubramaniam from a perspective of a teacher in interacting with another teacher, because a person who handles knowledge as the weapon is definitely a teacher in any context. He has done numerous quiz shows, interacted with thousands of quizzers in all age groups. So my first question to the quiz master would be, what has been your experience in the long-term benefits of participating from a student's point of view of participating in knowledge events?
That's a good starting question, Ajay. One of the things I think we fail to recognize is we focus too much on the quiz shows and not quiz as a process of learning. I would personally advocate the latter, though I'm probably associated more with the former, because any form of inquisitiveness helps you retain information for a longer period of time. A lot of people have told me, what I learned at a quiz, I remember forever. What I learned in a classroom, I forget after the class. Because sometimes when you learn in a fun environment, your ability to absorb that information is far better. The second thing is, one of the best facets of learning, and quiz is not a game show as some make it out to be. It's a perfect pedagogical institution. It's actually a Socraterian method of learning if you look at it in deep education. And the method of inquiry is actually a very strong way of learning. When you build that inquisitiveness capability in you to question things, whatever it is, and the subjects can change. Your inquisitiveness can be a building, a small little, nib of a pen, but that curiosity in you needs to be ignited. So if you have an ignited curiosity as a self in you, you are bound to be a learner. And then learning is not pressure at all. So I personally think, especially in this modern era, maybe you did say Asia's largest offline quizzing and said online. Maybe that will be true for us very soon as well, because we are getting into that space. And I would believe that is going to democratize quizzing in a far larger way, especially at a school level, because schools are going to adopt quizzing as a method of assessment. And if that is going to become a reality, it is going to become a method of alternative learning. So brilliant first question. I think every student should build that nature of curiosity in them.
Thank you so much for the narration, Giri. Now, students, coming from a quiz master, I mean, those words, I'm sure you will need to keep it in mind for a very, very long time. There is also the angle that the person himself is a lifelong learner. He's an alum of the prestigious Harvard Business School in leadership and strategy management. And all along, whatever I have known him, he has always been learning something, studying something. He likes to walk the talk when he actually showcases that quote from Gandhiji's frame that you can shake the world very gently with your actions. He's a person who is very down to earth, and then he does not really mince his words when he says that asking why in a very polite manner every time you have an exchange with information providers, it can be a good thing. Second question, Giri, would be students these days, their attention span. This is a word which I keep hearing all the time from teachers, educators, broadcasters. Their attention span and their ability to focus on something for an extended period of time has been compromised. How has been your experience in handling students in this area?
I want to be very honest at this. The problem is not with the students only, and it is made out to be a student problem. Sometimes we need to step back a little and ask ourselves, is it just that the students' attention span is reducing, or is it the people who are trying to hold the attention of the students are unable to hold the attention? Both sides of the spectrum are true. Take a corollary to this. People said the reading habits of children have reduced, and the world's richest and the most prolific of writers grew in this generation where supposedly reading was declining. Why? Because J.K. Rowling managed to capture the imagination of these very children whose imagination is supposedly declining and attention spans are going down. So it's a two-way process. Yes, the options for a child in life and the number of things that a child dabbles with today is far more than what when we were as children. So the distraction quotient for a child is far more, no two ways about it. Having made that statement, if a child or a student sees purpose in whatever he or she adopts, it could be a gaming platform, and if they love it, they stick to it. Why are they addicted to certain platforms for hours together? Simply because their traction with that medium is meaningful to them and they're deriving something worthwhile for them out of it. The worthwhileness could well just be entertainment. I'm not for a moment speaking knowledge or knowledge output. It could just be, I feel nice doing this over a period of time. So people on both sides of the spectrum need to understand their target audience. Gone is the era when trying to do what you did yesterday in a slightly better manner is going to cater to this audience. It doesn't really work. Take, for example, you're a good example of it. The physics chamber, as I understood from you, is a very focused approach, which is attracting students to just that. So gone are the days when you go for a generic tuition class where the same teacher or a coaching center or whatever one wants to call it, where everyone's teaching you from English to physics to chemistry to biology to mathematics. That was the old concept of a parallel school, if I should call it. Today, everything is focused. The person who gives you something in a captivating way will still hold the attention of the students. So I'm not necessarily a great critic. I do quizzes which last from half an hour to 2 hours. Nobody walks out of the hall. Why? Because there is meaning and purpose for them when they're seated in that auditorium.
Excellent, excellent. Students, I'm going to refer to this particular conversation if attention strays sometimes during our interaction. Multiple times when I take the names of people who are very, very famous and well known, I'm sure that I can hold your attention at that point in time. Giri Balasubramaniam has also had the opportunity to work with very well-known, illustrious people in the education and related areas. One specific thing that I very clearly remember is he mentioning about his association with Dr. APJ Kalam. I'm sure that students would definitely love to hear a small snippet of learning about your experience in working directly with Dr. APJ Kalam.
Well, many humbling moments, but one that really stands out for me is he was at a quiz. It's a quiz for rural children that I do with the Karnataka government and TCS. It's called the National Rural IT Quiz, and we've been doing it now for 20 years. About 1.5 million children take part in that quiz every year. So it's a massive national event. And he came to the national final of that quiz. In fact, he insisted that he watch the quiz and not give away the prizes, typical of Dr. Kalam. So the quiz got over and he came on stage to give away the prizes. And somehow over a period of time in our interaction, he had started talking to me in Tamil. And that was our common language of conversation. So on stage, when he was giving away the prizes, he was standing next to me and he asked me, the prizes were big. I mean, it was TCS, it was Karnataka government, it's a national prize. Dr. Kalam is the chief guest, so I think that itself would have elevated the prize amount. They got some really fancy prizes. I think it was a lakh plus or a Mac or something like that, really big for school students. And he asked me, Giri, is this, and for some reason, he loved calling me Pick Brain. He liked that ringtone, he used to say, it is a nice name, in a very cute way. So he asked me, is this the prizes you give everywhere? Is this how school quizzing today is? I told him, no, sir, this is perhaps the top end of the table. This is not what we do every day. So he said, okay. And then he said, see, Giri, whatever we give, I have one observation. We celebrate the success of our children a lot, but we don't equally celebrate our teachers. We should do something for our teachers. So I just heard him out. Sometimes when such people speak, you are on mute mode, you just listen. And that's all happened. The prize distribution was going on. The national anthem got over. He was walking away. He suddenly turned near the staircase and called me. I went almost running. He said, I want you to think on this teachers thing. You have to do something. Think about it and do something for teachers. So I said, okay. He left, we left. Life took over. I'm guilty of making the statement, we allow our priorities of normal company running to take over our lives. He just thought about it once or twice. Did have 1 or 2 discussions, but we really didn't know how to go about it. I'm standing some 4 or 5 months later at the Bhubaneswar airport. I distinctly remember it. Some nice looking dogs came inside. So I thought, okay, some politician is going to come. So I moved a little that side. I was in fact holding a coffee cup. And then suddenly some action happened and people started clapping. So I said, what happened? Me and my colleague were curious. We just stood up from our chair to see and we realized Dr. Kalam was walking in. So he walked in and we were standing in a corner, nowhere in the crowd or anything. But as he was crossing, my eye caught his eye. And as he walked, I faintly heard something. I kept quiet. I just turned as he walked past and my colleague said, sir, I think he said Big Brain. So I said, I also faintly heard something like that, but I thought I was, subconsciously thinking. So he just walked off and then suddenly after about 4 minutes or so, one senior police guy came there and asked, "Yahan pe Big Brain kaun hai?" So I lifted my hands and then, he said, come. So I went with him. I was literally on the tarmac. They had to take me through another gate to go to the tarmac. Sir was waiting to board a flight. And he said, Giri, when we met in Bangalore, I had asked you to do something for teachers. Have you done anything? Even as I speak now, I get goosebumps. I was shocked. I was shocked. I mean, I was at a loss for words. I didn't know what to say. I just half blabbed, maybe half truth. I wouldn't know how to describe it. I said, yes, sir, we had some discussions. We don't know what to do. And, so he said, okay, next week I'm coming to Bangalore. You be in touch with my people. I will meet you in Bangalore. We will discuss. So I came that day. Next morning, I called my team. I said, guys, I'm extremely embarrassed. This should not have happened. We need to do something. But again, we honestly didn't know what to do. So then we met him a week later in Bangalore. And that is how we came up with this idea of the teacher.in as a portal. He said, let us create something where teachers just celebrate what they do. It can be a free medium. And today we are proud we cater to over 20,000 teachers on that platform. And to this day, we don't charge a rupee. There's no registration. It's just teacher enrichment left behind by him as Dr. Kalam. But that's the power of the man. He never looked at the student. He looked at the teacher behind that student. And I think that's where, whether people like you or me, we are probably teachers outside the formal classrooms. But even in a situation like this, one salutes the teachers who sometimes don't get the credit. Forget about competitions. Even otherwise, I think the teacher community does not get the credit that it's due for in our country.
Very, very thought-provoking string of incidents, students. I think I will also have to confess that I was also sort of teleported to that tarmac as Giri was speaking, and then some kind of goosebumps also would have happened. I mean, anybody who has seen Kalam, Dr. Kalam, I'm sure that is the kind of a feeling that one has. Probably the most famous current quiz show that Big Brain is currently doing is the Tata Crucible quiz, students. That's probably the one that you are most familiar with. And that's a very prestigious annual event from the house of the Tatas. And as we speak, Giri Big Brain Balasubramanian is also gearing up for another edition of Tata Crucible. Can you just give us a little insight into the Tata Crucible whole exercise that goes into it?
It actually started with the TCS IT Viz before Tata Crucible. I started doing quizzes for TCS before I started doing it for Tata Sons. Very interesting trivia for you, since you come from Kerala. The idea of a Tata Crucible germinated in Kerala. It was in Trivandrum. It was actually at the Techno Park in Trivandrum at the TCS office that a lady named Shamala, she had a 5-minute appointment with Mr. Gopalakrishnan, who was then on the board of Tata Sons. And in 5 minutes, she presented an idea, because the Tatas were then celebrating what was called the Century of Trust. And it was the birth anniversary and death anniversary, a couple of their, stalwarts from their history. And they were trying to create various events. In fact, they were trying to create 100 events for the Century of Trust. And she presented this idea, and she was the lady who had started TCS IT Viz. And in 5 minutes, she put through an idea at Trivandrum, and Mr. Gopalakrishnan liked it. And the only thing was, as things moved, they turned around and told her, will you come to Bombay and execute it? And she said yes. And that's really how Tata Crucible started. Honestly, when we started it, 8 cities corporate event, I never imagined it would go to 40 cities. I never imagined doing a business quiz in Shillong or in Amritsar, in Udaipur. These are small towns of India which were never known for business quizzing. I would still believe we would have done a science quiz or stuff like that, or a school quiz, but not a corporate quiz or a campus quiz. So truly humbling the way the Tatas have taken celebrating knowledge as a platform for connecting the youth. I think that is fantastic. It's one of the cleanest forms of entertainment. And that is why I always say this. The only inter-school activity with no parental resistance is a quiz program.
Wonderful, wonderful. I would just like to probably go back about 12 years. We have not discussed this before this. Let me see if Giri remembers this incident. We happened to be in Panjim in Goa on the same day, because both of us had 2 different quiz programs. And I was conducting my event called the WizBiz, which the quiz program which I started in the year 1998. And that was an intercorporate quiz program at that time. And I did not know that Giri was in town for a completely different event. And later on, when I met Giri Balasubramanian, he said that, you see, if I had known that this program was there, probably I would have also liked to compete. And that was a complete shocker to me, because if we are talking about somebody who is a very, very famous quizmaster on media, and then I asked him, but what if you don't win? And the answer that he told me that day, I don't know whether you recall, Giri, but then that has been a very, very remembering kind of a moment for me. But what he said is that you win some, you lose some, so what? I mean, you get to participate. That's the kind of essence what he said. If you can recall, because many students have this thinking in their mind, if I participate in something and if I don't do well, how will I look? How will I feel, kind of thing. My dear students, we are talking about probably the most famous quizmaster in the school segment and the corporate segment together in India. Honestly saying that I would have loved to participate, and then even if I lose, that's fine. Thoughts on that, Giri?
I've always believed there are two things. There is an overemphasis on failure. It's just a process to success. So I really don't understand. And I think, honestly, we overdo it a little bit in the Asian subcontinent. It's true in China, it's true in Singapore, it's true in India. So it's not only an Indian phenomenon. In my honest opinion, the fear of failure limits our learning process. We stop learning and we start trying to perform, even with our examinations. We may be great performers in our examinations, but have we learned? I don't know if there are two things to be considered. I would rather have someone come to the physics chamber with you and learn and love to be a physicist. It is like, again, a famous question Dr. Kalam asked, saying, is there anybody at an IIT address somewhere, he had said, is there anybody here who can question science? Is there anybody here who can tell me E is not equal to MC square? I'm willing to have a conversation. We need people who are willing to do that. And if you are willing to do that, you've got to be willing to fail. You can't, quite insulate yourself on failure and expect to be a great success. You will only be a moderate success. Only when you have that great belief and strength in you saying it's okay if I fail, that you actually achieve greater success. So I would urge students to not get too obsessed, with this culture of protecting yourself from failure, insulating yourself with a good career, and to be very fair. Today's world gives them an opportunity in thousands of areas compared to what we had. I can understand if our parents told us, or tried to insulate us. I find it appalling when, people still think India is a poor country. Yes, there are issues and numerous among them, but we've come a long way forward, long way forward. It's a brilliant nation. The world looks up to us and we don't look up to ourselves sometimes. So you got to start understanding that the opportunity today is global. So allow yourself that luxury to fail to become a bigger success. That's my way of looking at it, students, and genuinely look at it that way.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Giri, for those wonderful words. Students, we have been extremely happy to take out a half an hour of a schedule from this very busy person in the knowledge dissemination engagement industry in India. From all of us here at the Physics Chamber, students, parents, and all the other members of our broadcasting service and everybody who will get the opportunity to watch this program, a big thanks to Giri Big Brain Balasubramanian. Thank you so much for being in our show.
Thank you so much, Ajay. I must honestly say, in a generation that we are in, you are doing a fantastic job. It's not easy. It's courageous what you have started. It is required because we will go places only when we have people who are deeply passionate about specific areas. And that's what you're trying to create, whether it's physics or math or any of those areas. And these are core to the existence of mankind. Science can never go away from the evolution and continued development of humankind. So I think hats off to you guys for what you are doing. And I know the journey has not been easy, but I certainly believe in this digital era. May your tribe increase.
Thank you so much, Giri Balasubramaniam. My dear students, that was Giri Big Brain Balasubramaniam for you. And thanks a lot for joining us in this episode of In Conversation series. Bye-bye.